Good morning. My name is Francia, and today we'll be practicing our nice, gentle vinyasa. I'd like to focus today a little bit on the hips in a selfish way because my hips have been acting a little funky lately, especially my left hip. So I want to focus a little bit on opening up the front of the hips, the quadriceps, and things like that. But we're going to do it in a nice, gentle way. So if you have a set of blocks, that's really all we're going to be using today. I don't think we'll need anything else. Maybe a strap. If you have a strap or like a scarf or anything like that, that you might need to help pull your leg closer to you without having to reach. So grab those things, those props, and come to a comfortable seated position. So we'll begin by softening the shoulders, settling into our bodies, into our experience, into our day. Allow the breath to move in an effortless fashion through the nostrils. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. With each round of breath, we let go of any tension, any tightness, any reservations we may have. We have made it onto our mat, and that is half the battle here, that we have become present and we have shown up. And then with the next inhale breath, we'll draw the palms together at the center of the heart, softening the shoulders and jaw. Preparing for Om, one more breath in. Om. And slowly releasing the hands down, blinking the eyes open. Beautiful. So our easy warm-up today, we're going to start on our feet. So come off your cushion and let's try this little movement here. We're going to cross our feet so that the soles of our feet are flat on the floor. And we're going to use just a little bit of lift, maybe through your fingertips, to come forward. And then see if you can bring your hands forward, elevate your hips, keep your legs crossed. So whatever foot is in front might be slightly forward. And then just kind of maybe sway a little bit, wiggle a little bit here. Don't have to straighten your knees completely. You can also use a block in front of you so that you can bring the earth up to you. And then maybe allow yourself to relax, softening the shoulders. So part of our hip flexibility includes our legs. Obviously, when we stretch to the hamstrings, to the quadriceps, we're going to feel a little bit of pull in that muscle. But with the legs crossed the way that we have them now, before we begin warming up, just allows us to kind of settle into whatever limitations our bodies are giving us. And then with the next inhale, let's press up, move the shoulders back. Again, you can still use the block or you can bring the hands to the floor. And then bring that back foot forward and around so that now that back foot is in the front. And then again, we're going to allow ourselves to release. And so you want to make sure that your knees are in a comfortable position. So try not to hyperextend, especially to the back of that back leg, because you want to allow yourself to kind of just release. And let your shoulders soften, let your back soften. If you need to bend the knees a little bit, that's fine too. See where your body feels. In this stretch, not only are we targeting the hamstrings, but also the outsides of the hips, pretty much on both sides here. You might feel it a little bit more intense on one side than the other. And then inhale, lift halfway. Bring the shoulders back, exhale, and place the feet side by side, hip width apart, maybe slightly wider or slightly narrower than hip width. Soften the knees, and once more, let's take that forward fold. Head relaxes, soften the shoulders. Calm, steady breathing. Deep inhale, slow exhale. And then inhale, lift halfway. Expand the spine. Maybe now here, try to straighten the legs if it's available for you. You go ahead and soften your knees, move the block off to the side, and roll yourself up to standing, come into a standing position. All right, we'll start with a little sun salutations just to get the body moving. Inhale, draw the arms up, look up towards the thumb. Exhale, gently fold forward, hinging from the hips, softening at the knees and elbows, head relaxes. Inhale, lifting halfway. Opening your heart space, creating space as the shoulders roll back. Exhale, plant your hands down on the mat. So bend your knees so you can flatten your hands down. And then walk your feet back. Take a high plank. Let's hold our high plank here. So again, part of waking up the hips is finding strength. And in the core, we want to use that core strength to create a little bit of awareness through the body. So if we hold our high plank, let's dip the right knee down, open that left hip, and then open the left side of our body, getting a nice extension here in our side plank. Inhale, lengthen, press the left pinky toe down to the mat. Exhale, bring it down. Then we'll go ahead and do the other side. So finding your plank again, protracting through your shoulders, bring your weight forward to your fingertips. Try not to let your hips sag, lift them up just enough. Don't lift them up too much. Nice in the middle, good. And then left knee comes down, open up that right heel. Inhale, right arm comes up, and we look up towards that right thumb. Pressing the right pinky toe down into the mat, and then use your fingers in your left hand to squish or to grip your mat so that you're not putting all your weight in your wrist. Exhale, right hand comes down. Once more, we find that high plank. Engage in the core. Now I'll give you the option here to drop both knees if you like, or to go from this position. So if you're going to drop your knees, you release them down, release the toes, keep your weight forward, and then slowly lower your chest to the floor. Try not to let it touch, let it hover just a little bit. And then inhale, lift yourself up. So again, engaging into those shoulders. Let your elbows bend a little bit to pull your chest through and roll your shoulders back. Now here's our first little opening in the front of the hips. We're keeping the knees down, tops of the feet down. And then we're going to allow ourselves to slide forward and up just a little bit more. Dropping the hips, relax the glutes, shoulders back. Maybe the chin can come up and you can look to the tip of the nose. Try not to let the heels splay out to the sides. Keep the toes pointing straight back. And then exhale, tuck your toes under, elevate your hips, and gently come into your downward facing dog. So your feet are about hip width apart. There's a nice distance between your hands and feet. So you don't want your stance to be too short where you're in a forward fold. You don't want to be too wide where you're trying to find that lift here. So you want to find somewhere in the middle. Hands are nice and glued, moving the rib cage towards the thighs. Maybe you soften your knees and lift your knees or your heels. Maybe you sway your hips. Start to become aware of what your particular body needs during your practice. Allow my instruction to be a suggestion so that you can guide yourself through your own practice, because you are your own best teacher. As we move through these movements, through these asanas, really kind of pay attention to that. Notice and be aware of what your particular body needs at this time. And with the next inhale breath, we'll look forward between the hands, walk or step your feet forward, lengthen through your body, create space. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale, rise as you root through the soles of the feet. Palms come together, we gaze at the thumbs. Exhale, arms by your side, Samasthiti. Okay, now we're going to move into our second one. Exact same thing, just using a little bit more speed. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step or walk your feet back. Find your high plank, hold. Find your core strength. Push into the arms, shoulder blades separate. Right knee comes down, pivot left heel. Inhale, lift. Hold here for a breath. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale one more time. Inhale as you find extension. And then exhale, roll that left arm down. High plank once more. Find your strength, find your core. You can do it. Stay with it. And then exhale, left knee down. Right heel pivots. Right arm up as you breathe in. Look up towards your right thumb. Hold here. Inhale. Exhale, keep reaching. Press down to your right big pinky toe. Inhale again. Exhale with control. Inhale, see if you can reach a little bit more. And then exhale, roll that arm down. And again, find your high plank. This time again from the knees or from the toes, you choose. Chaturanga, lower down. See if you can hover just a little bit off the floor. Inhale, strong breath in as we lift up, drop the hips. This time the knees may or may not be on the mat. If you need them down, that's fine. Press them down, but relax your hips and glutes. Soften the shoulders. If they're lifted, and it adds a little bit more attention to the fronts of the hips and perhaps to the lower back. Exhale, curl over the toes, downward facing dog. And then let's stay here and settle in. Breathing deeply. Gazing towards the upper thighs or the knee. Separating through your shoulder blades. Easy, steady breath. Calming the mind and the nervous system. And then inhale, look forward between the hands. Walk or step your feet forward. Again, we lengthen the spine and exhale, we fold. Inhale, we rise, rooting down through the soles of the feet. Arms come up, gazing towards thumbs. And then exhale, arms by your sides. Good. All right, so now you're hopefully feeling a little warmer. You're going to grab one or two of your blocks, place them down behind your heels, and then we're going to allow ourselves to come to a seated position using our squat pose. So Malasana. We often do this without the block, but in this gentle vinyasa movement, it's good to have the support of the block. So we're going to bring the elbows in, knees out, roll the shoulders back. Inner thigh awareness, the inside of the hips are starting to maybe awaken or feel a little bit more fired up. Draw the belly in. Let's just stay here 5 breaths. Maybe even close your eyes and see if you can pinpoint the parts of your body that are giving you the resistance, where the resistance is coming from, where's the seed of that resistance. Can you gently hold that strain or stress that you might feel in your body with love and compassion so that you can move with a little bit more ease, even though there's tension or tightness? One more deep breath. And then exhale, slowly bring the hands down. We're going to try to roll ourselves forward. So I kind of like to wiggle myself down. And then as I come forward, I usually come off the block just so that I can kind of settle myself back in. And then you can, if you no longer need the block, or if you have another block, you can just bring it forward so that you can place it under your forearms. Sometimes my heels rise up, sometimes they lower down. They're doing a little bit of both today. So just see how you feel. And then your block has levels. You can make it shorter or higher. And so we're just trying to kind of round ourselves over the insides of our legs and then keep trying to separate your collarbones here, your fronts of your shoulders. Let your head hang. Deep stretch perhaps in your ankles or your feet. If you're lifting your toes up, try to relax them down. One more breath. Slowly, let's go ahead and reach the arms forward and sit ourselves down on the mat. Let's release the legs. Good. All right, keep your block. We're going to start with a nice stretch into the lower back. So we're going to lay all the way down onto the back. And we're going to plant your feet down on the mat. Lift the hips, and we'll start with the block at the lowest level. We're going to increase this in intensity as we go. Once the block is in place, just notice and observe how this feels in your body. Does it feel okay in your abdomen? Your block should be at your sacrum. And then you can start to straighten your legs. So once you straighten your legs, you'll find that the stretch moves closer now to the fronts of the hip flexors, the quads, and maybe even a little bit into the back of the legs, into the calves, especially if you're flexing your feet. So we don't want the feet wide apart like Shavasana, but we don't want them squished in together like a forward fold or like any kind of pike position. We kind of just want the legs to be comfortably apart. I like to flex my feet because again, that engages the backs of my legs. But you can also try pointing. That will give you a little bit more awareness in the front. And then the arms can reach up overhead. We'll just be here for a few breaths, observing how the body feels. Now, as we progress through our practice today and increase in intensity, remember you can always come back to the first option, which is this one. So this would be the first option for you if you wanted to not try any of the other ones, or if you tried and they just weren't for you. Just a couple more breaths. Last inhale. And then as we exhale, let's release the arms down by your side. Bend your knees one at a time. Plant your feet on the floor. And then again, we're going to lift the block. So we're going to increase the intensity by elevating our prop halfway up. Oh, Terry, there's lots of blocks behind you on the right side. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and kind of settle in. This is a great place to be. But again, if you feel so inclined, try straightening those legs, seeing how that feels. So the leg straightening is going to intensify this. Too much, bend those knees. Too little, lift those arms. Actually, sometimes lifting the arms helps me at least release any tension in the lower back. So you don't want to squeeze your glutes. If your feet are flexed, make sure the awareness is in your ankles, not your upper thighs or glutes. So we're breathing, elongating, settling into the sensations we find. Nice deep inhale, slow, gentle exhale. We're working on the fronts of the hips today. Maybe next week we'll work a little bit more on different parts of the hips, but it's just kind of a nice way to awaken the body and awaken this very, very important part of our bodies. Our hips is what drives us forward. It's what allows us to ambulate, to walk, to move. So it's a pivotal part of our health and happiness and vitality as we get older and as we move through life. All right, one more deep inhale. Slow exhale. Let's release the arms down by your side. Slowly bend the knees. Plant the feet on the floor. And then our last one, you know where we're going, toes under. And then we're going to try to elevate it to the highest level. Again, maybe or maybe not. Once it's there, kind of take a moment once more to settle in. Remember, you can always go back to that lowest level where we started. So in this one, you're welcome to stay with your feet planted on the floor, or if you so wish, try and straighten the legs. In this position, the legs may or may not straighten all the way, but remember not to just let the feet flop out like Shavasana and not to draw the legs to touch. Keep the thighs parallel, but engage so that they are indeed kind of rolling in towards each other. You cannot feel this in your lower back. Relax your glutes. And when you're ready, stretch your arms up overhead and breathe. So at any point, you might want to change the position of the block. You might want to change the position of your arms or any other significant changes your body needs you to make in order to hold and breathe and feel the stretch that we're trying to create here. We're going to add to this. So whether you're high up on the block or in the middle or lowest level, bring your arms down by your sides as you exhale. And then keep the left leg nice and straight. Use your arms to help support you, help guide you. So arms down, palms down. And then let's take the right leg up. Point the toe and then kind of hold here. I like to extend the left leg, the one that's underneath, a little bit so that it comes up off the floor. Reach, 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 reach. And then as I'm reaching in both directions, letting my left foot come down. So maybe that means bending the knee. You can also bend the right knee a little bit so that you can have both knees slightly bent and focus here on the awareness of the hips. And then we'll hold here just a few more breaths as well. Remember, you can do this at the high level, middle level, lower level of your block. It's the exact same thing depending on what your body needs. And then if your arms feel okay, you don't need them for support, just turn your palms facing up to relax your shoulders. So again, legs can be fully straight, one leg can be bent, one straight, or both legs can be softly bent. And then as we exhale, let's go ahead and extend both legs, reach, try to pull the legs in opposite directions, and then drop the left foot, drop the right foot down, readjust, take a moment, because we're still in this elevated position, still feeling that stretch here. We'll repeat on the other side. So right leg is gonna extend, left leg is gonna come up. We're gonna try to straighten that left leg as best we can. We're gonna try to straighten that right leg as best we can. Remember, your palms can be flat because this helps you stabilize the upper body so you don't feel like you're gonna fall off your block. And then you can softly release that right foot down and you can softly bend into the left knee. This little bend here makes a big difference because instead of targeting the hamstring, which we're doing with the leg straight, the little bend brings the awareness back down to the hip, which is where we want to work. And then that right foot is just grounded on the mat, not flexing, not pointing, just softly releasing. Soften the shoulders. Get a nice deep breath in, a slow breath out. Just be here for a moment. Remember, you can always change things up by maybe straightening one or both legs just to kind of see how that feels. And then coming back to where you feel at ease. And then as we exhale, we're going to lower or straighten that right leg, straighten that left leg, both legs straight, and then lower the right foot, lower the left foot, bend both knees, come back into your supported bridge. Settle in, just a few more breaths. All right, one more we're going to do here. Again, you may not be able to do this if you're not at the highest point, but we're going to try. You're going to come onto your left toes and reach down, grab your right foot with your right hand. Tuck your toe back like you're doing Trianga Mukha, right? So you're bringing that foot back. It's going to stretch through the top of that right foot. Once you're there, then you can relax that left leg away and take a few breaths. You might still be able to do this in the middle position. I don't know about the lowest position. I think you could. I have never really tried it. But try not to force the knee. Imagine you want that whole unit of the leg to come down towards the mat. Like you want your shin one day to be flat against the floor. It may or may not happen. I don't think it'll happen for me this lifetime, but you want to move with that intention. And then before we come out, let's take the left leg up towards the sky. Same thing. Start with the leg straight and then soften the knee. Notice as soon as you soften the knee, it's going to intensify a little bit more into that right quadricep, the front top of the right thigh. And again, we hold and we breathe. And we settle to where we are. We let the back bend do the work for us. We try not to overdo it. If you need to come out, come out. One more breath. Exhale completely. Inhale, straighten that left leg. And exhale, slowly lower it down. Let's release the right foot. Come back into our bridge. We've been here a while, but we got to do the other side. So settle in for a moment. Preparing for the other side, we're going to bring the toes under. This helps you balance. Left arm reaches down as we find the left foot. Tuck the left foot back and find the stretch at the front of that left hip. And then you can kind of bring the right foot back down, flat to the floor, and breathe here. Moving slowly and with intention. We're finding the stretch in the front of the left quad now. So a lot of times we think that hip flexibility has to be only focused on the hips, but in fact, the quadriceps and the hamstrings are very closely related. So working on that is also going to help us. And then you can straighten that right leg, kind of see how that feels, or you can lift it up, start with the legs straight, so you can really acknowledge how that feels with the legs straight and engaged. And then as you bend the knee, observe how that should, at some point, intensify the top of that left quad. So we want to tuck the toes towards your shoulders. Good, Tara. Very nice. And then if you want to just keep that right leg down, you're welcome to too as well. And try not to look around like I'm doing. Keep your head in one place. kind of just gazing down the tip of your nose, or you can close your eyes. And then again, we're imagining the entire left leg, the whole unit, bringing it down towards the mat. So one day your left shin and left knee can touch the mat. You may be light years away from that happening. No worry. Steady your breath. And then let's point the toe, extend that right leg. Again, bend a little bit. And slowly, as we exhale, let's go ahead and lower that right leg down. Once the leg touches down, we release the left foot and find ourselves in our bridge pose. Okay, fun times ahead. We're going to come to our toes, elevate your hips, remove the block, keep the heels down, and stay for 5 more breaths. So now we're using all the muscles we engaged into doing the pose without the help of the prop. Your arms can be down by your sides, helping to lift you. You can wriggle your shoulders under, interlace your hands behind your back, and really lift up. Find lift and lengthen through the front of the body here. 1 more breath. And then exhale as you release the arms if they're engaged, and then slowly, like you're imprinting your spine in sand, 1 vertebra at a time starts to come down. So you can really see and feel the release of the spine as you start to lower yourself down to the mat. Once your hips are down, take a moment to bring your knees into your chest. I like to start with my knees wide apart, almost like I'm preparing for a happy baby, and then just rock side to side. And then once you've rocked side to side a couple times, start to move your knees maybe slightly away from you when you get to the side. So as you rock to the right, just move the knees towards the mat. And as you come in, hug them in, move the knees out towards the floor. And just do that a couple times with the knees apart. And then coming back to center, bring the knees a little closer. So maybe they're tracking over your shoulders. And then again, a little side to side. And then a little bit of the drop. So to all the way to the right, and then drop the knees down, bring them back in. On the other side, drop the knees down, bring them back in. So try to use control here, letting your back get the massage that it wants or needs. And then back to center. Separate your knees, bring your hands to your feet or ankles or shins or calves, whatever you can find, and then lift your heels for a happy baby. Stay still. Or once more, a little rocking, maybe bringing the left knee down, back to center, right knee down, and kind of just seeing how that feels. Giving the lower back a nice release. That was a lot of work that we did for the lower back. So give it a little bit of love. And then slowly as we come to center, exhale, drop the heels down. Hold on to your opposite fingers, like you're interlacing your fingers as you're grabbing your feet, and let your knees float out to the sides. Supine Baddha Konasana. Shoulders relaxed, back is nice and straight. Steady breathing. If you can't quite grab your feet, that strap or scarf might come in handy, because then you can kind of wrap it around your feet and then use your strap to hold on. Might feel pretty nice. Actually, that feels pretty nice for me because I don't have to reach with my shoulders. I can pull my shoulders back. So you can try with the strap. Couple more breaths here. So you're kind of pulling the feet towards you and you're moving the knees away from you. These static types of stretches, when we do these, we really want to find like our limit, our edge, and then just gently move around in that edge. You don't want to overdo to the point of cramping or pain or shooting kind of electric pain. You definitely don't want to do that. But you also don't want to be so comfortable here you could take a nap. There needs to be a level of activity. All right, let's slowly release the feet. And then let the feet come down. All right, last thing we're going to do here before we move on is, again, grab your strap. Terry, there's a bunch of straps in that basket behind you. You're going to plant your left foot on the floor and place your strap around your right foot. Elevate your right foot. All right, so 2 ways of doing this. If you have your right leg straight, point through your toe, but keep the strap kind of connected to your foot. And then imagine yourself bringing that right leg closer and closer to your body. So what I like to do is I like to open the elbows and then use them almost like weights to drag that leg as far over my body as possible. You're going to look at your right toes and you're going to smile and you're going to tell your body, thank you for allowing me to move in this way. Now, keeping the engagement of that right leg, let's start to slide that left heel away. And I like to go super slow when I do this. Super, super slow, like I'm moving through molasses. The left leg is activated in the sense that the knee's not flopping out to the side, but the foot is relaxed. And then as you start to really kind of feel a little bit more engagement, you can start to flex your left foot. Nothing has changed with your right leg. Your right leg is still the same. And then as your left leg starts to move farther and farther away, your left heel starts to slide farther and farther away. Maybe, if it's possible, you can straighten that left leg completely. If it hovers off the floor, that's okay. Once the left leg is extended completely, now point both toes and activate both legs. A lot, so that your both legs are really activated. Deep stretch in the back of that right quad, or hamstring. But if it's too much, a little soft bend in the right knee will go a long way. So allow yourself to softly bend through that knee. And then what we'll do is we'll drop that left heel down. That might mean that your right foot comes up a little bit. That's okay. Imagine pressing your left calf into the mat. Again, the left foot can be flexed or pointed. And then now again, move that right leg towards your body, finding your stretch. One more thing we're gonna do here before we close up. Sorry, my nose is itchy because the scarf is giving me, it's tickling my nose. All right, one last thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna point both toes, and as we inhale, slowly lift your head up towards that leg and drag that leg towards your torso. Use your core muscles to lift, and then exhale, lower down. All right, hold the strap with the right hand, and then slowly start to drop that right leg out to the side. Keep your left hip rooted and heavy. Don't let your left hip and left shoulder come off the mat. Just start to open up to wherever you find. I like to bring my right elbow down, use that as control here so that the right leg can be supported. And then I'm gonna look to the left and I'm gonna stay rooted through that left side. Easy breathing. Keep reaching and pointing through both toes. Keep your left side body super engaged and active. And then inhale, slowly make your way back through the center. Exhale as you arrive. Inhale once more, lift the head. Exhale, lower down. Release your strap and slowly lower your right leg to the mat with control using your right side obliques. Once the leg is down, give yourself a moment. Observe how the two sides of your body feel. All right, we're going to move to the other side. I'm going to slightly move my mat over so that when I open my leg, it doesn't hit the window. All right, let's try there. All right, so keeping both knees bent, we're going to bring the left knee into the chest. Use your strap, place it around your foot. That might be better. All right. And once you have your strap, again, you're gonna use your arms and the strength of your core and your leg, pointing through your toe and slowly bringing that left leg over the body. So use your arms, open your elbows to the sides, and let that leg come over the body. Now, we're not pushing into that bottom foot. So the right leg is on the mat, but you're not actively lifting your hips. Keep your hips down and just let the activity come from the hip and the leg. Stay there for a few breaths, settling into the sensations that you find as you move your body this way. And then keeping that same activity in the left leg, so nothing's going to change in the left leg, we're going to start to slide that right heel away. Super, super slow. Again, you're in slow motion, moving through molasses. You're slowly lengthening that right leg. Very, very slow. trying to keep the left leg in the same position you were before. Now, if the right leg doesn't straighten all the way, it's not a problem. Keep that knee bent. But as you start to find room to make that leg a little straighter, then you want to flex through your right foot and push the right heel away. So there's a lot of activation happening here. If the left knee needs to soften a little bit so that you can go a little bit more, that's fine too. Both knees can be soft. Both knees can be straight. You choose. And then finally, let's go ahead and point the right toes. Make that right leg as straight as you can get it. Point the left toes. Move into the space. Find your maximum. Find your limit. And then exhale, drop the right leg down. Even if the left leg comes up a little bit, flex the foot, and now try to ground the right calf down into the mat. Allowing the breath to kind of move effortless here. All right, we're going to point through both toes, and as we inhale, we're going to slowly lift our heads up like you want your chin one day to tap on your shin bone. Shoulders back and down, everything lifted, core engaged, and then exhale, head down. All right, we're going to grab the strap now with the left hand, same as we did on the other side, and we're going to slowly open that left leg to the left. Now you might find that there's little parts of the body that need some change, so you might need to lower the leg, lift the leg, whatever you need to do here. Keep the right side of your body heavy. Keep your right shoulder on the mat. Keep that right leg engaged and pointed. And then extend your right arm and look towards your right fingertip. Let's be here a few more breaths. Nice deep inhale, slow, easy, and gentle exhale, letting go of anything that no longer serves, keeping that right side of your body heavy, and then inhale, slowly make your way back up. Use your strap here to help you lift all the way back to the center. Exhale when you arrive. And then one more time, inhale, lift your chest, head, and shoulders, reach your chin to your shin, softly bleeding and extending, and then exhale, lower down. Release your strap, and then slowly lower that left leg all the way down to the mat. Once it's all the way down, just allow yourself here a couple of moments of Shavasana, rest pose, corpse pose, just a few breaths. We're not quite done. We're going to do a couple more things, but just to kind of feel how the body evened itself out after doing both sides. All right. So the last movement we're going to try today is going to be, again, that same Baddha Konasana, but this time, as we set up for Baddha Konasana supine on our backs, we're going to go ahead, bring the knees in like you're going into a happy baby. Hug the knees in. Slide the hands down towards the feet. Hug the feet. So hold on to as close to the feet as you can. And then instead of lifting the heels, move the heels towards each other so you can find your bind with your fingers and push the knees away. Now this time, instead of just pushing, we're going to alternate. Pushing the left knee away and then pushing the right knee away. This pose, when we do it seated, can feel super, super intense. And if you can't interlace your fingers, again, use your strap once more like we did the first time. But if you are able to interlace your fingers, make a nice tight fist. Try not to release your fingers. And then we're just swaying side to side, dropping the right knee, dropping the left knee, dropping the right knee, dropping the left knee. You can go fast, you can go slow, you can do one side and then hold it for a while, and then do the other side and hold it for a while. Whatever you want to do here. We'll be here just a few more breaths. Make sure your heels stay touching. We will like to separate at some point. I know mine do. And then slowly, let's go ahead and push both knees out as you keep holding the feet. Be mindful of your ankles. And then we're going to release the feet and we're going to just let them come down to the mat. As the feet come down, again, knees are just gently open to the side. So we're like in the same Baddha Konasana, but now all the way down onto the mat. You might not feel it as intense as before. See if you can lift your shoulders and then try to press your lower back into the mat. So you're trying to flatten out or even scoop out your front body. Notice the change that makes in your inner thighs and hips. And then your arms can be out like a T or elbows bent. Just try not to lift your chest. Keep your chest rooted and grounded down. So imagine like scooping out the front of your body. One more breath here. Exhale completely. And then we're going to release the arms down by your feet. We're going to use the hands to help slide those knees up through the center. And then once you're there, go ahead and extend the arms, extend the legs. If you wanted to put on a shawl or a blanket, because it's chilly, you can try that. And then let's go ahead and take a rest. We're going to do one more thing after our rest pose, but right now let's just take Shavasana. Allow everything that we've done today to really integrate within your own body, your own experience. So let your feet flop out, relax the knees, let your arms softly open to the side, soften your shoulders, close your eyes. Breathe steady. Bring your awareness to your hips. That joint where your leg meets your body. It's such a big joint. It's such an important connective joint. Emotionally, most women, we hold a lot of tension in our pelvis and in our hips. So see if you can zone in and intuitively feel where you need to surrender, where you need to let go. Gently. We'll begin to bring awareness back to the body that we find ourselves in, this room, this space. And before even beginning to have the thought of movement, let's create the intention of movement. So as we keep our bodies relaxed, let's think about our fingers and toes. And then we allow that thought to become action by wiggling the fingers and the toes. This action continues to create more action, like a little snowball, and adds movement to the wrists and the ankles, the forearms, the lower legs, the knees, and the elbows. You can bend your knees, plant your feet about the width of your mat, and then slowly start to drop both knees to one side and both knees to the other side. Just like a windshield wiper, moving your knees one way and then the other. I invite you to remain with your eyes closed, your attention focused deeply inward. And then let's bring both knees to the right side and hold there for a moment. You can take your right foot and place it on top of your left thigh, giving you a little bit more stretch and sensation on that left hip. Exhale completely. We release the right foot. Go back to the windshield wiping, back to both sides. Notice how the movement changes after the hold. Maybe there's a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more awareness, or a little bit more tightness. Sometimes we find the opposite to be true. And then let's drop both knees to the left. Stay there for a moment. If and when you're ready, you can place that left foot on top of the right thigh and then let that heavy leg find a little deeper stretch. Soften your shoulders and breathe. The next inhale, we release the foot, come back to the center, and then last time, a little bit side to side. Slowly settling back in the middle. Let's roll over onto our right side for a moment. Use your right arm as a pillow. Keep your knees soft, stacked. And then inhale, slowly press up. And instead of coming to seated right away, we're going to come into a child's pose. So separate your knees, big toes touch. Sit your hips to the heels, and then lower yourself down into a child's pose. You can use blocks here to help support your chest or to help support your head, or both. If you have two blocks, you can put one for your chest, one for your head. So kind of find a way that is comfortable for you to be here. If you don't need the blocks, just allow your body to feel pulled down by gravity as you relax your shoulders, relax your hips, and stabilize your breath, calming your mind. Prepare to wrap up our practice. Just take inventory of the body, the sensations, and the mental formations that are constantly moving through our mind. As we prepare to wrap up our practice, remind yourself that we are not this body. This body is a tool that we utilize to move about the world. We are also not this mind. In fact, I invite you to consider that you are the observer of the mind. That when the mind is in control, then we know we lose our agency. And find yourself as the observer, the one in control of the mind. And settle in, find a way to feel comfortable in your child's pose. Could be any change here that might be needed in your body. It could be your arms need to be in a different position. It could be your legs should be closer together or farther apart. Hips higher, hips lower. Using props or not using props. And be here about 4 or 5 more breaths. for that last exhale breath. We'll slowly start to soften the elbows, slide the hands down towards your knees. Allow yourself a moment here with the shoulders down. And then inhale, gently pressing ourselves up, coming into a lifted position. We'll just do a little bit of cat and cow here. So tuck the tailbone under. As you inhale, move the shoulders away from the ears, tuck the chin to the chest. And then as we exhale, let's do a lion's breath. And then again, inhale, curl in. So our lion's breath, we stick out the tongue, we look up towards the third eye, and we do our little lion growl or lion roar. Exhale, lion's breath. One more time. Curl in. And lift. And slowly we release. We'll make our way either to our hero's pose or to kneeling or to just sitting in Sukhasana, your choice. Once you're in a comfortable seated position, let yourself soften through the shoulders and jaw. Maybe bring the hands into prayer, honoring the experience you've had today with your hips. However wonderful or not so wonderful it went, it was definitely yours. No one can take that from you. So just be with that experience. Allow a little sense of gratitude to fill your heart. And then we'll all inhale together for the sound Om. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.
Namaste.